Hey everybody, Casey from CaseyFriday.com here, and here's the tiny house. The living room, a couple things need to be done. The wire that's been run on the wall for this box right here, you see a blue and a white cable in there. The blue is network and the white is audio. So the network cable is not going to be incredibly necessary at this point because my 17-inch laptop gave up the ghost and I'm not going to be using a laptop anymore. I did have planned a VESA mount that would, basically there would be a mount here to the wall and then an arm that's able to move in all different directions that has 4 holes for a VESA mount on the end of it, and it was going to have a laptop tray in it, but I'm not going to do that anymore because I'm not going to use a laptop. So what I did is built a Hackintosh, which is a super powerful desktop computer running Mac OS X, and I'm going to mount the 27-inch display here with that same arm. So I'll be able to fold it down into the wall so we can still have a view out the window, but then I'm also going to be able to pull it off the wall, move it up and down, and sort of have it wherever I want. And then as far as the keyboard tray goes, I did contact a company about custom fabricating one that can be VESA mounted as well, so that I can have another arm that I can move around and type wherever I want to type. But I think what I'm going to end up doing with regard to the keyboard tray is I'm just going to build a wall shelf for the keyboard tray to go on and put it at approximately the height that I want to stand at, because it's going to be a lot cheaper. To have it custom fabricated will be somewhere around $300 to $400 for the extending arm as well as the mount itself, which is a bit too much for me, and I really don't want to pay that much. And if I did it myself, I can probably do it for less than 80 bucks in parts, because I don't really need a reciprocating mount on there, and I just need it to sort of be within arm's reach. The thing I'm going to have to change now is I've run that network cable thinking that I would have my laptop connected to my network attached storage, which would be right at the edge of that trash down there. I'm still going to have a media server, network attached storage, with 8 terabytes of storage, 6 terabyte usable in a RAID 5 array, but I am not going to be connecting that directly to a laptop. So what I'll do is probably put that in the cabin out at the piece of property that we purchased, and then I will be connecting to that and mounting different sparse disk images for my iPhoto, iMovie, and iTunes library, and that will be connected with Cat5 eWire from this tiny house to the cabin. So I will have gigabit speeds, very quick, and the only thing limiting will be the SATA 2 connection, which is connecting the hard drives to the motherboard. So what I'm going to have to do is connect a display cable to go from this blue box here all the way over to where the Hackintosh desktop computer is going to be sitting inside our storage right there. So there's another outlet there that's got the Ethernet and audio connections, and I'm going to have to take the Ethernet out because I don't need that, and I'm going to be running a DisplayPort cable. So I'm going to have to remove this piece of drywall and that piece of drywall so that I can run this DisplayPort cable. And I really wish I had run some sort of conduit so I didn't have to actually take this off the wall to run that wire, but it is going to be relatively thick. And what I'm going to end up doing is putting just a low voltage plate with a hole in it over this, sort of nice looking, but the DisplayPort cable will just come straight out. There's not going to be any sort of wall attachment because introducing wall attachments takes down the rating and might cause connection issues, and I just want to plug one end into the computer and the other end into the display. Now actually with the audio cable, I'm not going to have to run that in the wall either because DisplayPort carries audio, and the display that I'm purchasing, I purchased one already and it's not the right one. It only has DVI-D input. DisplayPort carries audio and so does HDMI. So if we run our Wii U in that same corner over there to this display via HDMI or DisplayPort, I'm going to have to look into adapter cables and converters. We're not going to need audio going through the wall, and if I have my computer sending signals to this display via DisplayPort, the display that I purchased also has audio out. So if I want to run the stereo that I have, the Kicker stereo, below this display somewhere, I can just run the audio out straight into that, and it's already amplified, it's good to go. So there are a couple of things I have to do, which taking these 2 sheets of drywall off is one of them. The fortunate thing is that that's the last sheet of drywall. There's not a sheet of drywall underneath this right here yet, so that's not a third piece that I have to take off. But I did get a new drill, 18-volt impact drill, since I killed the last 2 that I had. So I can use that, and now I will be able to easily remove those sheets of drywall from the wall. So the next things that I'm going to be doing is over here on this side of the house. I'll be doing plumbing. I'm doing pressure tests. What I've done is capped off each of the ends. So you see right here, I've got those caps on the pipe nipples, and there's plenty of Teflon tape in each one of them. And then here where the water heater is, I've just connected these two with a PVC hose. And then over here in the sink output for the bathroom, those are capped off as well. And down here where the tub outlets are, those are capped off. And then right here is the shower connection. There's the shower output, and it's capped off as well. This is the last place I've tightened and Teflon taped everything. I've had a couple leaks, just tiny little air bubbles coming out when I pressurized this at 100 PSI. This is the last thing. I didn't actually tighten these very well when I first put it together. My buddy Alan and I were out here and I didn't have an adjustable wrench. What I'm gonna have to do is unscrew these and re-screw them together. So I will have to take that off and re-Teflon tape these things and make them a little tighter because I've been tightening them and they're just not really doing the trick. I got an adjustable wrench today at Lowe's that is a ratcheting adjustable wrench, so it makes it really easy to put it in there. I got the big Stanley Boss Stitch one. Once I finish the pressure test, and that shower handle is the last thing. It's funny, I thought I'd come out here and spend 20 minutes, pressure test, good to go. And it turns out all the PEX is fine, which is what I was the most worried about. There were two sections of PEX that were not pressed in well enough. Besides the PEX, it's just these pipe nipples and caps that I've put on that have little leaks in them. So the lesson learned here is when I end up connecting the actual sink inputs and the shower and the tub to this plumbing system, I need to make sure everything is Teflon taped very well and tightened very well to make sure there are no leaks. So once I finish that pressure test on the plumbing in this house, I will be able to drywall the remainder of the house. And the only other thing I need to run is the black pipe. It's going to come down right under that AC plate that you see right there in silver. And then over there where that piece of tape is, behind the red guy on the ground, I'm going to run some black iron pipe to bring propane in the house, but that's sort of an after the fact sort of thing. That's not going to matter too much before I do the drywall on here, because it will be going right there and have an L connection that'll come over to that one, and then both of those will be run to the front of the house on the tongue of the trailer up there where the propane tank will sit and input propane to the system. So pressure testing that will be much simpler than this plumbing system. Almost done. A couple of mistakes. It's like every time I do something in this tiny house, there's something else that I need to redo to make it work well. So it looks like we're getting a little lightning and possibly a thunderstorm coming here, which would be great. Could cool it off a little bit and make this nicer weather working. So I'm going to be getting to work, and I will come back with an update as soon as I have some of this stuff figured out. You can also hit up CaseyFriday.com. I'm going to be posting some more articles about the Hackintosh I built if you're interested. I'm Casey from CaseyFriday.com. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.